Prince George's Chamber on the Move. Thank you to our sponsor, Softcon Enterprises, for allowing us the opportunity to spotlight Prince George's County businesses and highlight local business news and upcoming events. Our guests this segment are Doreen Williams, President of the Green School and Director of Environmental Education for the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce, along with Ruthie Mundell, Outreach and Education Director for Community Forklift. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to start with Ms. Mundell. Ms. Ruthie, can you tell us about yourself and Community Forklift?
Oh, sure. I'm the Outreach and Education Director at Community Forklift, the DC area's largest thrift store for home improvement.
Oh.
And most people, when they think of thrift store, they think of clothing and couches, but we specialize in home improvement supplies and architectural salvage. So instead of donating your couch, you might donate your kitchen cabinets to us.
Oh, wow.
And think of us sort of like a Home Depot crossed with a Salvation Army, crossed with an antique store.
Okay, well that's great. Thank you. So how long have you been here?
I've been there since the first week we opened.
Mm-hmm.
So I was officially the 4th employee.
Okay.
And I had a background in environmental education. I've always been a tree hugger. Growing up, I actually raised oysters as a 4-H project on the Potomac River. And so I've always cared about the Chesapeake Bay and what we're doing in Maryland to protect the beautiful place we've got.
So you said, so what year did y'all first open here?
We opened in November 2005.
Oh, wow.
So 6 years ago.
Wow, great. Well, that's wonderful. That's definitely a milestone, and I'm sure you're all excited to be here that long, and we hope that you can continue to be a sustainable business here in the county as well. So who are some of your partners within the community that you work with?
Oh gosh, we've been very, very lucky. We actually are located in Prince George's County because the Port Towns Community Development Corporation approached us and wanted us to come be in the Port Towns as part of their work to build a more sustainable community, both economically and environmentally. And so they helped us get a loan from the state, and we've just had fantastic help from networking groups like the Chamber of Commerce and the locally owned businesses here that belong to the Chamber. And we've there's a group called the Prince George's County Green Power Coalition of some small green businesses and large ones that are interesting in promoting all of the great stuff going on here. There's actually about 70 green businesses that we know about in the county. Everything from huge government contractors that do things like improving building technology and HVAC systems and large buildings to a woman who makes products for babies, cloth diapers and things.
Wow.
So there's a wide range of folks, and of course thousands of builders and contractors and tradespeople in the area who've been very, very supportive, both donating materials that are left over from their projects as well as donating their time and advice and spreading the word.
Great. Well, you mentioned in your earlier comments about there being an economical benefit for the county. So can you go into a little bit more detail about how the county benefits economically?
Sure. I like to joke that we've succeeded in spite of ourselves. When we first started, it was only a few employees and none of us knew much about retail. Now, luckily, a couple of years ago, we got a fantastic COO who got us into shape. But those first few years, it was kind of a miracle we survived. And so I think it's just because reuse makes so much economic sense. There is no point in throwing out the thousands of tons of building materials from renovation projects every year when a lot of those materials might be in perfectly good shape. So let's say you're redoing your kitchen, and instead of taking out all of your kitchen cabinets, you don't like the color, maybe the configuration doesn't work for your family, but they're still in good shape, and instead of using tax dollars to truck them down to Southern Virginia to a landfill or paying to build incinerators, we should instead keep those valuable materials here in the county and put that value to use for our local communities and our neighbors.
Right. That does make a lot of sense. Right? It does make a lot of sense. So your name, Community Forklift, also refers to your mission to lift up local communities by reducing waste, making repairs affordable, and creating green jobs. So can you give us some more information on the jobs that you all have created?
Oh yes. So we've gone from just one person to start. Jim Schulman was our founder, and we've now grown to 20 employees, 20 green workers, and we're hoping to get ready to hire our 21st. We may be looking for another truck driver soon if we add a second truck to our fleet.
Okay.
So it's been fantastic. Each year we've grown very steadily. In 2008, we actually doubled in size. We went from 8 people to 16 people at the same time that all of the big box stores were laying folks off.
That's right.
More people were looking for good deals, and so I would say that a reuse store is a very good place to be in a tough economy, because everybody needs to save money, and people start pulling together more and working for their community, and so we really grew. And then there's also a secondary, sort of, I call it the ripple effect, among local tradespeople in our community, because a good example, we're able to keep people working. So perhaps there is a contractor who is talking to a homeowner who has a kitchen to renovate, and the homeowner says, give me an estimate. He says, okay, $5,000 for my labor, $15,000 for new cabinets and appliances. The homeowner says, you know what, I can't afford that. I can't get out of a borrow against my mortgage or something. Forget it. But then the contractor calls him a week later and says, hey, I just found this gorgeous cherry cabinet set for $1,500 at Community Forklift. Yes. And they say, oh, let's do it. And so then the contractor, he's still working, whereas that's a job he wouldn't have had for a few more years. So there's been this great impact, as well as other folks, homeowners who've maybe finished a basement apartment to be able to add to their some rental income so they can stay in their house.
Well, that is true. So, and as you mentioned, the economic benefit for the consumers of using reused materials. How has that had an impact on the businesses that may be surrounding you, such as the warehouse and the plumbing supply place and those companies that may be in your area?
Well, they've actually, surprisingly, you would think that sales at local hardware stores would go down when a low price place like us opens up. Our prices are generally 40 to 90% below retail. But it's actually been the opposite. There was a study of a store that opened in a Canadian town similar to ours, and a year after they opened, sales had gone up in all of the surrounding building materials businesses. And again, it goes back to creating work that wouldn't have otherwise been there. So let's say somebody decides, hey, I can't afford $150 for paint to paint my house, but guess what? 5-gallon buckets of paint are only $10 at Community Forklift. I can buy the paint, but then they think, you know what? I need rollers, I need brushes, I need drop cloths, and so they go down to our friendly hardware store down the street and pick them up.
See, that's another opportunity for partnerships and collaborations that people may not have recognized before. So that's great. And also to have the savings, 90%. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
On top of that makes it really work as well. So
there's
that's
also the savings from the donors as well, not just the people who shop at our store. The local businesses love being able to clean out their storerooms, having more storage space, and then also not having to pay the dumping fees. Every time you have to pay for a dumpster, you have to take something to the landfill. As a business, that's not free. You pay by the ton. And so not only are they getting this great tax deduction for donating to our nonprofit, but they're getting that savings on their disposal fees.
Wonderful. So what type of materials do you all accept, and how would one go about donating to Community Forklift?
Well, our general rule of thumb is if it's a building material, something that was once sold at a hardware store that came out of an old house, chances are, if it's in good shape, we're probably interested. We've got a lot of specific details on our website, communityforklift.com, and there's actually several options for donating. You can bring it by our warehouse. We love that. We're open starting next week. We're adding a 6th day. We'll be open 6 days a week for the first time, Tuesdays through Sundays. Or you can just come by and drop it, or you can go on our website and schedule a pickup. We also have a pickup. Our truck will come out and get it from you for free.
Okay, well that's also another great opportunity. So can anyone come by to shop at the Community Forklift?
Yes, it is open to the public. I like to talk about the day that we had a congressman show up as our first customer. A U.S. congressman came to look at a gorgeous 8-foot-tall antique mirror. And then the very next customer was a day laborer who went home with 2 2x4 boards over his shoulder, and he went to walk down the street to go home. So we really have the full range of every customer, because we have such a wide range from the beautiful vintage antique things to the just dirt cheap toilets.
Right. Well, that is wonderful. That is great. Well, we appreciate your work in the community and everything that you're doing to help create a sustainable environment in your area, and it's for the community. So how can you gave your address, but can you give us your phone number, other ways, and also the website address again so that people can contact you?
Oh, thank you. Yes, communityforklift.com. You can remember that because we're lifting up communities.
That's right.
Or you can call us at 301-9 985-5180, or you can just come visit us. We're located on Tanglewood Drive in Edmonston, 4671 Tanglewood Drive. And again, the phone number 301-985-5180.
Okay, wonderful. We're about to take a quick break, but I do want to acknowledge Ms. Doreen Williams. You'll be our next guest, and Ms. Ruthie, if you could also hang out. We have a couple more questions for you because you have a wonderful initiative as well. But Doreen Williams is our resident green expert at the Chamber. How long have you been with us now? It's been about 3 years.
2008.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, 4 years. Time flies.
It's been
right?
a while.
It's been a while, right? So since 2008. And so when we come back, we'll hear more about your green school and the initiative that you're working with, and how you all work together to help in the community. So. Welcome back to Prince George's Chamber on the Move. I'm Rhonda Slade, your host and the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. We've had a very enlightening discussion this morning about becoming environmentally conscious and things that businesses can do to become more green and sustainable. And we currently have in our studio Ms. Doreen Williams, who's President of the Green School and Director of Environmental Education for the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce, along with Ruthie Mundell, Outreach and Education Director for Community Forklift. So we've had a great conversation with Ms. Mundell. I'd like to ask Ms. Williams to tell us a little bit more about yourself and the Green School, please.
Well, the Green School was actually birthed in 2007 after my work on Capitol Hill, where I worked for one of the members of Congress who eventually became our energy chairman. So there was a great deal of passion about energy and environmental issues, as well as being a political appointee and being assigned to DOE. So we wanted to kind of marry together some of our skills with energy and environment along with my past experience as a news producer, and we formed the Green School. The primary focus is to educate students on environmental issues. We've had curriculums and programs on vehicle technologies and carbon emissions, and recently the addition of our Green School, which can now train students who want to get into the green workforce.
Okay, what's the age group for their students? High school?
And actually, the program that we have a youth program that is available for students from K through 12.
Oh, wow.
And then our Green Workforce Training Program is actually for 16 and up. Our youngest student to date has been 16, and our oldest was 72.
It's neat because this whole green workforce is a new buzzword. A lot of people say buzzword, but it actually is a new reality, right? And we need to make sure that we are all able to move forward in that. So what are some other ways that we can educate, either one of you, Ms. Mundell or Ms. Williams, answer this question, educate the community more on how to be more energy efficient and environmentally conscious?
We get lots of folks from all walks of life who just come in trying to save money. They don't think of themselves as tree huggers.
Right.
But once we lure them in with our low prices, then while they're in the store, we can talk to them about how to improve their old house. You know, do you have enough insulation? Maybe you think you need to replace all of your windows and you don't have the money for that, but you know what? You might just need to replace your insulation. Do you know what an energy audit is? Perhaps that's something you should look into. So we really enjoy being able to reach out to folks who aren't necessarily thinking about it, but once they come in, we start talking to them about their light bill, and we're able to launch that conversation, and we have experts we can bring in, and then we've been very appreciative of the Green School. They've been big cheerleaders for us, and being able to send professionals or folks who are interested in learning more to folks like the Green School to be able to get more information.
Educational programs are key, because when I started my program in 2007, it was kind of before the big media boom, if you will, of the green workforce or green technology. I was kind of ahead. So when I went in and I approached schools and other institutions, educational institutions, I was actually explaining why it was so vitally important to get this education out to that next generation of students. And it wasn't a very clear understanding at that point when I went in and I had those conversations. So I was educating educational leaders, principals, if you will, of the importance of preparing that next generation of students.
And as I mentioned in the earlier segment with Mr. Wade, being a pioneer is not always easy.
It's really not. It's
so
not.
I know as an independent school site, I know that you all have needs.
Yes,
and so what are some of the needs of the Green School here in the county?
What I've encountered so far, some of the greatest needs is sponsorships for our students. We have students that come to us from various financial backgrounds, economic backgrounds, and educational levels as well. And the primary need that they have is for support and sponsors. Take the time, do the training, take their exams, but they need the financial support sometimes in order to take part in those programs.
Right. And the work that you're doing is very important as you're preparing our next generation. And it's really key. And so how would, if a business was interested in sponsoring or doing some work to partner with you all, how would they reach you in order to do that?
Well, they can contact me directly at 301-537-4362.
So what are some of the upcoming events that I know you're in the process of doing some specific training and some specific events with the youth.
We do. Right now, just to get that education out there more and the awareness out into our school systems, where we've sent out invites to all of our schools within Prince George's County, our high school schools, to welcome our 11th and 12th graders and even 10th graders for a free one-day solar photovoltaic training day where the students don't have to worry about paying. There's no fee. Just come in and see what the training is about and see if this is something that you're really interested in. And then we kind of go from there. So we invite the schools and we invite the students along with the community to come out and participate. We're also we're taking part in game night at Suitland Elementary School because they were featured on our Green Education 101 PBS series, which we have that actually ran all summer on WHUT on Saturday mornings. So the show that featured Suitland Elementary School and some of the green initiatives that they've implemented is going to be highlighted January 18th, and that show will have Congresswoman Edwards and Delegate Brayboy, and along with some educational leaders from Suitland Elementary School. We also, as well as solar photovoltaic, we have green construction and weatherization that we offer to students as well.
Wow. I know those are very demanding fields, and there's a need for those areas. So what are some of the, you mentioned some of the obstacles for the students to participate in your program, but what are some of the obstacles for citizens and or your students in the job placement once they, before they, I see the obstacles to getting to the training, but then once they've had the training, and are there obstacles that are keeping them from getting actual jobs or finding the jobs in the community?
With the economic downturn that everyone has been experiencing, large companies, small companies, and our community as a whole, we've encountered individuals that have experienced barriers getting employment, maybe because of their unfortunate past incidents that have happened to them, and employers don't necessarily want to take or offer that second chance or opportunities. So as an advocate for them and for my students, I go in and I say, okay, well, this person has been training for the last 16 weeks or 4 months. They've taken their industry level exam, and at the very least, can you offer them an entry level position so that they can show you their skills? You know, they're trying to provide for their families and they're asking for a second chance to prove themselves.
Right.
And that's, as an advocate, that's what I strongly go in and fight for. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the main barriers. Also, some of the main contracts that are there, we need to make sure that they reach the citizens as a whole and not just maybe one set group of population, mm-hmm. and that it's there for everyone, right, to take advantage of, especially those that have gone out and received the skills and the training, and now they're qualified to do this work. Right. I personally feel, as president of the Green School, that they deserve an opportunity. Right,
exactly. And I do know that there have been several initiatives for to help reduce the recidivism rate and also for the welfare to work training exactly. Audience to highlight the green education portion, as those are where the new jobs are going. Mm-hmm. But if they're running into they've completed their part, they've done the training, and they're now running into the barriers that are hindering them from being employed because of maybe the area that had them in that position in the beginning. I'm sure it can be very discouraging for the students and the participants of the programs.
Right, and the companies maybe not wanting to open the door maybe to a young face or a face that they don't think is necessarily skilled. Mm-hmm. Let them through the door and let them show you that they really do want this opportunity. And even once they have the entry level training, mm-hmm. a lot of them are willing to take the advanced level and continue the training.
Right.
So we're just asking for those opportunities.
Right, wonderful. Well, Ruthie, do you all have any events coming up at the community forklift that we'd like to highlight?
Oh, sure, we've got some fun ones. We're kind of a quirky place, so we have a spring garden party coming up in early April, and we're going to have a costume contest for dogs and a big garden hat, wear your biggest hat, and you may get a prize. We'll have lots of landscaping stuff on sale, of course. And then in the fall, we're going to have our second annual ladies arm wrestling match with the
wow.
DC Lady Arm Wrestlers. It's a fundraiser because we're trying to buy our building so we can be a permanent resource for Prince George's County. And we're also in the works of planning a hand dance. We can need some help though. So if there are any people who love hand dancing in the county who want to help us with our fundraiser, please get in touch.
Oh, I'm sure there's some serious hand dancers in Prince George's County, so I'm sure you will find some people to help you with that. And again, Doreen, you want to remind us of the events that you mentioned earlier for the Green School?
The actual dates that are going to be held, we had one actually on the 10th of January, and because our schools on our northern side were asking for a little bit more time, we rescheduled it to January 24th. And then for our southern and central schools, we have the one free day solar class on the 23rd. And then our event with Siouxland Elementary School is January 18th.
Wonderful, great. Well, ladies, thank you for your work in the community. Thank you for all that you're doing to help build a sustainable environment for us all. And we're now that we are aware that green is cool, we will participate as well. So thank you so very much to Community Forklift and the Green School. And you all are listening to Prince George's Chamber on the Move on 1580 AM. Welcome back to Prince George's Chamber on the Move on 1580 AM. I'm your host, Rhonda Slade, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. We've had a very informative discussion so far this morning on the environmental initiatives that have been put in place here in Prince George's County to ensure that we're environmentally conscious and sustainable as a county. So our final guest in the studio today is Didion Songwine with the Prince George's County Department of Environmental Resources. Mr. Songwine, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your presence here today.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Good morning. So can you tell us about yourself and some of your primary duties with the Prince George's Department of Environmental Resources?
Yeah, my name is Didion Songwine. I work with the Department of Environmental Resources. I work under the Environmental Services Group, and I am charged with, at the moment, developing a climate action plan for the county. So I'm the program manager for the climate and equality programs for the county.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So what are some of your goals, the organization's goals, and for 2012 as it relates to sustainable Prince George's County?
Yeah, our goals are quite numerous, and we are kind of continuing what has transpired over the years. So we have a couple of initiatives that we'll continue implementing in 2012. Some of these include we'll continue implementation of our Go Greens initiative. We'll continue the implementation of our energy efficiency and conservation plan. We have the implementation of our air quality plan. And again, we are developing the county's greenhouse gas inventories. We'll be developing the climate action plan for the county. And hopefully we'll begin implementation of the county's climate action plan when it's finalized.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. So what are some of the strategies that you would use to encourage businesses to get involved with some of the initiatives that you've just outlined?
Well, in the past, most of the initiatives, for example, we have the county's Go Green initiative. The initiative has 5 goals, and one of the goals, which specifically relates to business, is to establish incentives for both new, existing private commercial buildings to achieve a LEED Silver rating.
Mm-hmm.
And what this implies is we're trying to encourage residents and businesses to get involved with the LEED certification process. And then secondly, as part of our climate action plan development, we've come up with sub-work groups. And we have a sub-work group that targets the business and community and the residents of Prince George's County. And we have Mr. Vernon Wade, who is here with me. He's a member of the business and community subgroup. And the goal of this group is to come up with strategies in the plan that target county businesses and residents to adopt environmentally friendly and carbon neutral practices. So those are some of the I'll say just two of the strategies that we're using to get businesses involved. And again, I'm here today talking to the Prince George's County community, and that's one of the ways we intend to reach out to businesses, get them involved in the process. And it's important for businesses to understand what is at stake in the whole process of developing the climate action plan. It is important for businesses to realize that reducing their greenhouse gas emissions has an impact on their bottom line, their profitability.
Right.
So it's quite important for them to get involved in the process.
Right. So, Mr. Wade, as Mr. Songwan has referred to, you are a member of this climate action group. So, as a business owner who participates in this, what benefits or have you gained, or information and insight have you learned from participating in this program, and how can we help other businesses to learn those new ideas?
Well, I would say, first of all, as being the chair of the committee, it's the important part is being a part of the policy and how the policy is put together, and making sure that it doesn't adversely impact business.
Right.
From a business standpoint, I would say that just having a standard or goal that is set forth by the county that is something that we can be a part of is what, from a business owner, is just a good place to want to be have business in Prince George's County. So.
Right. Exactly. It's always better when we do things together, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Always. So, Mr. Songwan, can you speak on some of the progress or accomplishments that have taken place within Prince George's County in regards to this green initiative and air quality plans and so forth?
Yes, they have been numerous. And maybe before I proceed with that, I want to set the stage on some of the policies since 1999. This includes county resolutions and executive orders. So in 1999, the county joined what they call the Cities for Climate Protection campaign with a pledge to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and improve our air quality. And then in July of 2007, the county endorsed the then Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement. This executive order mandated the county to begin reduction of global warming pollutants. And then again in September of 2007, a county executive order launched the county's Go Greens program. In 2008, by county resolution, the county adopted emission reduction targets for the county. So what we see here is there's been a concerted effort and a track record of policies that kind of culminate at this point with the development of a climate action plan. And the climate action plan, we're trying to inventory exactly what we have been doing and then set targets and implementation strategies to meet those targets. But even without having developed a climate action plan, there are actions that we've already taken in the county that contribute towards, that would take part, that would be considered as part of our implementation strategy. So for example, if you look at for over 20 years, the county has had, we've been converting landfill gas to electricity. So that is in itself has been reducing our greenhouse gas footprint, or has improved our greenhouse gas footprint. And you have, there is a contract under our Go Greens project. The county contracted with Pepco Energy and Johnson's Controls to implement comprehensive energy efficiency programs within county buildings. And as of 2009, the total energy savings from this program was about 5 million kilowatts. And if you look at the monetary value from 2009 extending 15 years into moving 15 years forward, we are looking at over $16 million in savings from implementing such energy saving measures. And then when you look at the county, we've been involved with beautification projects around the county. We have gateway projects. We have low impact development projects, which are water quality related. So what happens is we actually install structures that capture runoff from the streets, from parking lots, treat them prior to releasing them into the county streams. So we improve water quality in the county. So I mean, there are so many achievements we've had that if we might need a whole other program just to talk about.
Well, that's great. Well, $16 million in savings is definitely impressive, and so that is a great work that you all are doing. So if a person wanted to find out more about all of the initiatives, that you all have a website or contact information where people could reach you all?
Yeah, you could go to the county's website. It's www.co.pg.md.us.
Okay.
And then you could you could scroll to the Department of Environment's website.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that is great. So how can the Prince George's Chamber of Commerce assist the Department of Environmental Services in getting more businesses involved in implementing green practices?
Yeah, I think we need to come up with partnerships like what we're already doing, having Vernon on the Climate Action Committee. It's a great way to start. We need to outreach to county businesses. So the partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, it's very instrumental and will be crucial in achieving this.
Great. Well, we stand ready to serve. I know Mr. Wade is
Absolutely.
very active, and so we appreciate all that you all both are doing. And thank you for being our guest today. Again, we've had a very great discussion today on environmental practices here in the county and what we can do as a business community to move that initiative forward. So you've been listening to Prince George's County Chamber on the Move on 1580 AM. Please tune in each Wednesday at 10 a.m. as we will have more guests to spotlight local businesses. And thank you so much to Softcon Enterprises, our sponsor for the month of January. And if you need to reach us, please feel free to call us at 301-731-5000. Thank you.